you supported this review when it was brought forward. It's the conclusions, the report and the conclusions and the recommendation, or the lack of a recommendation within it, has been criticised by Prospect the union for being the whole project as a waste of time and a waste of money. Was it a pointless exercise?
There was certainly a strong view at the Public Service Commission, which people can see from comments at the time, in government, that it was unlikely that we would find anything significant, but eventually we were persuaded by backbench pressure that it was worthwhile running a fair procurement to get an independent agent to fulfil the terms of reference that Tim Wood approved. I voted for those terms of reference along with everybody else. Had the independent evaluation. Was it a waste of time? It cost lower than a smaller amount than the budget. Hasn't come up with any recommendations, but it is important for any organisation from time to time to be tested independently, so I don't think it's a complete waste of time. I can understand Prospect officers' frustrations. I know there are many other people who are frustrated, but what we've learned is that the JEG system that we're using, the fact that there are professional people who are not going to be managing people because of the nature of the work in the public service, things like I don't know, but there are professionals testing things and monitoring things and developing policies who do that. There are more of them doing that rather than managing people physically doing things. Looked at it, come up with these conclusions.
It is said that it depends on how you ask the question, what answer you're going to get, and if you phrase the question in the right way, you can get the answer you're looking for. Were the terms of reference for this report right?
Well, they were agreed by Tim Wood. They were proposed to Tim Wood. Tim Wood considered them in the debate and then agreed them. So, yeah, well, they're not very complicated. We were just dip sampling the promotions, the award of particular salaries for particular skill set jobs. We were looking at the responsibilities that different positions had, and the independent evaluators had complete access over a period of time to all of the events. They had data about those events. They assessed them and they came up with these conclusions. So we didn't really ask any biased questions. We just gave the terms of reference that Tim Wood approved to the successful candidate who won the tender.
The purpose of the review, some people would argue that it was grandstanding by politicians to be seen to be speaking out against a perception of overinflated salaries and top-heavy management in government.
Yeah, I've heard that view expressed from the Prospect officer in your interview earlier this week, and I know that there are others who share that point of view. I'm not going to get involved into criticising my colleagues. I resisted it along with council ministers for some time, but once eventually we agreed the terms of reference for this smaller scale but fair independent review, it seemed helpful to have a health check like we've had, and I'm pleased we did it. Hope it's lanced some boils, and I hope we can move on with the structural reform that's ongoing to make the structures of government simpler and therefore better, to make the way that we provide services smarter and therefore better. I'm not hung up on having smaller government because I think public service is what's needed, but I'm certainly of the view that we need a smart, simple structure to get the best public service, and this sort of report gives us a check from time to time, and pleased we've had that check.